Today, I'm building a last stand diorama. It's inspired by these great pictures. You've probably seen them in the codices. And when I started the hobby as a kid, it was these pictures that made me choose Blood Angels and Chaos Space Marines. As a start, I baked Sculpey in the shape of this mount, supported by aluminium foil, and attached some Marines to it. But for the main part of all of the body is strewn across this hill of death, I acquired these toy soldiers for like €2, €3 in the local crafting store, and these are perfect. I mean, they're not great, their plastic is terrible, they're brittle, they have maybe 4 or 5 poses, but they will be a great source of texture for the base. I especially like the one throwing the grenade, because if you remove the grenade, it basically looks like he's lying dead on his back. And because they're so skinny, they're also going to blend in quite nicely to the very flat surface that we have so far. And working with these didn't really require any tools, because they would just snap right off their bases with just applying a little force. They would break right off, which I don't want to keep all of them in the perfect shape anyways. We're going to break them apart so we can blend them into one mass of bodies where you can't really see where the models are coming from. Now, as it often happened, my super glue was clogged and it has thickened up quite a bit, so I'm just using this wooden stick to take out all of the glue and spread it across the base. We're going to be liberal here anyways. I gotta be honest, I wish I had spray painted the whole thing black already, because going under the figurines later is going to be quite difficult and was quite time consuming. As a general advice, I would say place a few figurines randomly and then see that you can break them up, place them so that they overlap, but also that you try to break up those very distinctive silhouettes. And then I've thrown a little bit of leftover green stuff tubes from another project or a wooden stick here. And I'm quite liberal with the baking soda. Baking soda and super glue, they cure immediately and they give you a lot more texture than just letting them dry regularly. So this way I could build up a little bit of shapes around the figurines, make them look like they've been kind of sunk into mud or gore or debris, whatever. Now, this project is a little bit of a special one for me, because this was going to be the Christmas gift for a friend called Felix. He was the one who introduced me to the hobby back in the day. And I'm trying to have a last stand where because it was 4 of us in the beginning. It was Daniel, Felix, my brother Hagen, and me. And we were all had one of the Space Marine army. So my brother was Space Wolves, my friend Felix was a Grey Knight, Daniel was Salamanders, and I was Blood Angels. So in the end, I want to have 4 miniatures in this last stand scenario, where we have 1 Salamander, 1 Space Wolf, 1 Grey Knight, and 1 Blood Angel fighting off a horde of demons. So that's the general idea, and then I'm going to gift him that for Christmas. I don't think he's going to see the video before then, so if he does, what's up? Act surprised, please. Alright, after priming, you can see that all of it has kind of come together. It's one huge mass of things, of debris, of bodies, of dirt. Use that what's it called, Martian Earth, something from Citadel, to also blend the bodies into each other, so you can't really see where they start and where they end. And then, as I usually do, is a gray or dark gray dry brushing to bring out the higher details. And here you can see that the lower level of the model, it didn't get primed black because there's a lot of shaded recesses, and I had to go in with a brush and fill all of those individually. And then we do a lighter highlight to bring out the peaks, and I'm getting quite the contrast here, because I do want to work with contrast paints, the slap chop method as it's referred to, and partially you see here. It was quite simple paint job. A lot of the borders between the bodies I just used what's it called, this blood effect from Citadel's with Blood for the Blood God. And that little demon engine, I don't know where it came from. Actually, I just found it in my Kitbash. I like to work at many projects at the same time, so I keep them in boxes in between, in these cheap IKEA boxes, to let them ferment in their creative quarantine a little bit. But this also makes sure that my space I don't have that much space, it's clean, and I can work on other projects. I highly recommend for anyone who's a little bit chaotic, that is the way to go. Yeah, so this is the model I chose for the Grey Knights. It's the only I never had Grey Knight bits, so I couldn't really do a big of a Kitbash, and it was a really nice model. This is I think it's an MK2 from the Saturn kit, and then I threw in a lot of those little details from the Space Wolf kits. Now this is pretty much just a regular vanilla Marine from the Saturn kit, unless they put the gas tank on the back, because this is Salamander, he's gonna have a flamethrower. Now for the Blood Angels, because I have a lot of Blood Angels, I have a lot of figurines that I kitbashed in the past. So I have this, it's like Dark Angel, Sanguine Guard mixture. I have this one, which is the best kit ever, was the old, what's called Black Legion kit. Then we have, this is from the modern kit. I think also it's an MK4 Marines, so the more of the Blood Angels ones. And I have this one, which is like a Requiem collector. So he walks around the battlefield and collects lost or from fallen battle brothers. He collects the stuff. So he has one wing from the Sanguine Guard that has fallen and stuff. Probably will use this one. Now that's the idea, that the demons will run up this hill. I've primed them white because I want to have them like vibrant, glowing, almost like flames. And then on top of the hill we will have these Marines fighting down, defending the last stand. For those demons, I was experimenting a bit, because I don't like painting the same model over and over and over again. I need to have a quick way to paint them. So my first try was white primer, then was a Tesseract glow, and then dry brushing them with black. That didn't really work, but I'm gonna keep experimenting on it. And then it's just lovely, because I've never painted a Salamander before. I actually painted one Space Wolf before for my brother last Christmas. So I can dive into these books, get inspired, and weirdly enough, in the Age of Darkness box and the Saturn box, they have basically the same books. It's just the pictures of the Marines are a little different, which is fun. Like one looks like how they looked early Heresy, and then the other one looked like it's late Heresy. But as great as these books are, I do miss the old school style of the paintings, even if that was black and white sometimes. But these are really nice, just technical drawings of the different Marines. And I'm gonna try a different paint job on the one shoulder pad with this flame, like magma crackling pattern. For the other chapters, I didn't like the Space Wolves too much. They were a bit grey. And I like the blue that they are in the 40k a bit more, so I'm going to stick with that. And the Blood Angels, well, I've been painting them for a while, so I'm probably going to be okay there. Yeah, here you see the difference between the two books. It's just one is like fresh from the factory, and the other one is battle worn, which that is fair. It's a bit repetitive, the whole book, so if you have one, you certainly don't need the second. Now, on to painting. Now I like to paint my miniatures on cork. So I glue them to cork, just a drop of super glue, and then I don't get my fingers dirty while painting. I still spray and paint my fingers every time. Now for priming, I tried a little bit of stuff with zenithal highlights. So for example here for the Grey Knight, easiest paint job ever by the way, it's just a Chaos Black primer, then Mephiston Red from lower angles, and then a teeny tiny zenithal highlight of a white. And then you just need to dry brush it. For the Space Wolf I used blue, the Space Wolf primer, and then a little bit of a greener one from down below. For the Blood Angel, it's just black and then red from above, and a little bit of white from below. And for the Salamander, I sadly didn't have green, so it's Agrax Earthshade from above, red from below, on the Chaos Black primer. These are all rattle cans, so no airbrushes. I haven't gotten around to try that. For the brushwork, I'm not the biggest fan of edge highlighting. What I like to do is increasingly layer in quite big color steps, color gradients, the colors onto the panel so that the brighter spot is in the middle. Here on the one shoulder pad you see that magma pattern that I will follow up with the crusts later. Now the Grey Knight was so easy, like it's just a dry brush on the rattle can, like a dry brush of was it chainmail or something, and then painted the sword white. It was that one in total in the end will have used maybe 5 or 7 minutes to paint, which is insane. I should have collected Grey Knights a long time ago. Anyways, here you see the Salamander thing, and I do want to try decals. I've never tried decals, even though I've been in the hobby for 14 years. So this is the first time me trying decals. And I used, I forgot to film the main thing, but I used that decal softener. That really works well. It's my first decal. It's easy to use decals. Just do it. Also get one of those super fine liners. I use that one to paint the lines on the scrolls and the outlines of the magma pattern. They probably work really well for hazard stripes. Now this was a really fun part. I experimented with the colors for the demons, and as this is Demon's Sword, I used the same paint scheme. Now what I do is I prime it white, then I dry brush a pink on it. Same on these demons. Very bright pink, and then I dry brush a purple, very, like, obviously touching up less stuff, and then I paint an even darker purple, and in the end it's a final very high dry brushing of black or black purple, like a mixture, and that leaves you with this really nice with these really nice demons. And then it was a matter of putting everything together and putting a little bit of shine on the base, and that leaves you with this.